Hey everybody, my name is Wayne Baker and I'm one of the staff therapists with Affair Recovery. And today we're going to talk about the components that are involved in the recovery of an affair. You know, we talk about all the time these components for the unfaithful of ending the affair, becoming transparent, not just translucent, but becoming transparent, being accountable for yourself and your spouse, express empathy, and discover over time in deeper ways what led you to that affair, the motivations behind it, and the meaning of it. For the betrayed spouse, it's receiving a full disclosure, hearing the empathy, your anger and rage that are common, especially in the early days of betrayal. Those are the components that we talk about a lot, over and over again. There's three other components that I want to talk about today that are implied, and we do, but they often go unnoticed or unnamed. The first component that I want to talk about is this ability to find a new perspective. Einstein said that no problem can be solved by the same consciousness by which it was created. If we ever hope to escape the total mess created by even our best thinking, we need to discover new ways of seeing and being. But the isolation created by shame that stalls our prospects of finding the help we need. Once again, this either-or thinking keeps us trapped. Gaining a new and healthy perspective requires the right environment and an open mind, an open heart to hear the experiences of others who are also in this crisis and willingness to share our own. It requires faith in the advice and the fellowship of other people that have gone before you and experienced the very same trauma. And until you see that it's worked for someone else, we have this idea of why even try? It requires courage and the faith of a mustard seed, I believe. We need to abandon this old way of thinking and seeing for something better and something new. You know, oftentimes I see it in my practice. They can't see it. We can't see this something new and something better yet because the pain is so great. But most people will have some little sense of it. And maybe that's the faith of a mustard seed. It's there. This is so true when you're in the middle of a crisis, especially with an infidelity, which is one of life's biggest crises. This isn't easy one bit. But taking the time to gain this bigger, broader, better perspective and doing the work through this is so beneficial. It's one of the most important components of infidelity recovery. Another component of affair recovery is this finding the right community. It can change everything, and I think it's the biggest reason why we do what we do and how we do it on our intensive weekends. Our experience has shown that a group approach to recovering from an affair not only expedites the process, but it also helps solidify a long-term change. It really does make things go better over the long haul. And I understand that this approach may be humiliating and intimidating to many people. I hear it every month. They'll say, "What? You want me to share my story with other couples? I don't even know them. Are you crazy? How do you want me to be in a room with other people and actually tell them about my infidelity? No way am I going to do that. I can barely talk about it with my spouse, let alone other people I don't even know, total strangers." But day after day, week after week, month after month, we see that this is the most powerful tool couples have in their recovery journey. It's the community that has either already been through the process or that they build in their own small groups, whether it's an online course or the intensive weekend, where the process of recovering from an affair becomes at least a little more palatable. Having others who are like us both validate our experience and also can give us hope. And at the same time, they're giving you hope, you're giving it to them. Community is so important. You cannot do this alone. I say that all the time. It requires some accountability. And when you grow weary of the road to change, because everybody does, who's going to care enough to check in on you? Or who are you going to check in on and see just how you're doing? Sometimes it just takes a simple little text or a phone call. It requires safe people to talk to that are big proponents of you and of your spouse and of the relationship. These people want to share their deepest fear and their shame, and they won't turn around and judge you for doing the same thing. You end up feeling protected and safe and accepted for this struggle that you are facing, that nobody in their wildest dreams ever thought they would. And the last component I want to talk about today is that recovery requires a proper timeline. The thing is if you don't know where you should be in the course of events in recovery, how do you know if you're on pace or right where you should be? How do you know if what you're both feeling is to be expected? A plan of recovery is essential. Recovery from infidelity is not something that you can easily walk through, and as I said earlier, you can't walk it alone. Even with a good plan and a timeline in place, a new perspective, and a community of support, this is hard work. Remember, you have to stay the course and look for these little progresses over time, not perfection. There will be bumps in the road, and it is, I tell people, it's not a roller coaster, because a roller coaster is much a smoother ride than this journey through infidelity recovery. So a proper timeline, even with that, it's a little different for everybody, and you want to be careful not to compare yourself to what other couples are feeling or what you're feeling to what your spouse is feeling. Everybody's on a different page, on a different time, on a different day. But having a therapist or a plan in place or a course with some general outline and timeline can be so helpful and encouraging. If you don't walk away with anything that I've said today other than this, you don't have to go it alone. You can't go it alone. In fact, if you're at all curious at any level to see how this approach can expedite both your healing and your spouse's healing and the recovery of your marriage, please feel free to reach out to us. Our Hope for Healing course for the unfaithful spouse could be a great place for you to start. I'd like to encourage you to consider the possibility that perhaps this is the community and the lifeline that you've been so desperately looking for. If you'd like to have a conversation with someone who's been through this before and can help guide you through the recovery process, please email us or give us a call or look online, and we'd be glad to help you any way we can. The thing is that you can't do this alone, and you really don't have to.